Shakespeare. Some people love him, some people not so much. As an actor, I'm a fan, but I'm always dubious about cinematic adaptations of Shakespeare plays to film. They tend to turn into filmed plays. And that's fine if you're watching a production of Hamilton or anything written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, but for Shakespeare, I feel a balance must be struck between reverence for the original text and respect for the film medium. And over the decades, there have been many filmmakers who've put Shakespeare on film with varying results. Joel Coen has thrown his hat into the ring with this latest filmed adaptation of the Scottish play, The Tragedy of Macbeth. And when I went in, I was just curious. I mean, it looked interesting. A modern retelling of Macbeth with Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand looked pretty engaging, but it didn't seem like a movie anyone was asking for. That said, I was knocked out by this film. Joel Coen has not only raised the bar, in my mind he has redefined the standard for putting Shakespeare on film. He's managed to strike the perfect balance between adapting a play while completely selling the cinematic experience. Coen capitalizes on modern technology using some of the best digital set design and visuals to paint a black and white world that is alive with a different kind of color. It feels like you're on the set of a play. No, like you're immersed into the world of a play, deeply immersed. Yet it is every bit a movie. And Coen sought to blur the line between reality and character perception, very much like the words of Shakespeare himself in the play. And Coen succeeds. He also brings a new interpretation to much of the landmark imagery and mythology of the play. The reimagining of the witches is brilliant, and just a touch unsettling due in no small way to Catherine Hunter's performance. Coen even plays with the perception of time, blending day into night and vice versa. His use of shadows is very ingenious. He also brings the film in with a conservative runtime of 1 hour and 45 minutes without feeling like the story is truncated or abbreviated. It feels like a complete work. And it's art. And Shakespeare on film tends to feel pretentious and self-indulgent. To be fair, you could argue that this film is that, objectively speaking. But in this case, you really don't notice. And when you're Joel Coen, you usually don't have a problem getting the cast you want either. It helps when you're married to 3-time Academy Award winner Frances McDormand and cast her as your Lady Macbeth, as well as your producing partner. Then the question becomes, who plays the title role against that kind of screen presence? Well, you get classically trained 2-time Academy Award winning movie megastar Denzel Washington. Washington and McDormand are solid. McDormand is near flawless. Her Lady Macbeth is nuanced, and McDormand makes the most of every moment of her time on screen. She can use her eyes like so few other actors can. Washington makes the most of that characteristic presence we've come to know him for in his over 40 years on screen. He adds a layer to the king that allows you to watch him descend into darkness, and you can't help but get dragged along because he makes the trip such an interesting journey to watch, though it be ill-fated. He is also a master of communicating volumes from virtual stillness. Though the entire cast, which includes Brendan Gleeson as King Duncan and Harry Melling as Malcolm, is strong, of particular note, I really enjoyed Alex Hassel as Ross. Corey Hawkins rounds out the cast as Macduff, who is also solid, though there was a scene that I thought the choice for him to underplay felt a bit off. That was an observation I might make about the entire production. All of the actors seemed to initially underplay in favor of allowing the language of the script to take center stage. This is probably most observable in Washington's performance, as he performed many of his monologues in a voice just above a whisper, but by the end of the film he is nearly on fire. To make a purely critical observation, that gradual energy build presents the perception of a pacing issue at the outset, but it eventually disappears. With that, Joel Coen is a maestro, making a masterful use of Bruno Delbonnel's cinematography, Carter Burwell's score, fantastic costume and art design, and masterful actor performances, he's managed to redefine the genre. Macbeth is not, nor has it ever been, a feel-good story, but you might be energized by the tragedy of Macbeth because the film is just that good.